In the PE class, after being hit in the head by a ball thrown by Shen Qiao, before I fainted, lines of comments suddenly appeared before my eyes. Here comes the reborn male lead chasing his wife to the crematorium. The female supporting character thinks she can pretend to faint to stir up trouble between the male and female leads, but little does she know, our Nan Shua is reborn and has already seen through her scheming ways. Waiting to see the scheming girl return to class and find her seat has been changed, wanting to pester him, only to be publicly humiliated by the male and female leads. I thought it was all a hallucination, but as soon as I returned to class from the infirmary, I found that my original seat had indeed been changed. The culprit who knocked me out was sitting in my seat, holding my childhood sweetheart Chi Nan Shua's arm, and said to me, never mind, I'd rather not sit here. Lest someone try to frame me for fainting again later, and I won't be able to explain myself. Besides, the seats in the front row are so close to the teacher, we can't do any little things. I don't want to sit here like a prisoner, so I'll leave it to you good students who love to show off. Shen Qiao's eyes have always been unfriendly to me, especially after the mock exam a month ago when the seats were changed, and I chose the seat right in the middle of the first row. Next to Chi Nan Shua, every time she looked at me, her eyes almost burst into flames. The people in the class were all there, and her voice was not loud, but it could be heard throughout the classroom. She pretended to stand up and offer me her seat, but her mouth just had to be offensive. They say poor students can endure hardship. Lin Nuanyuan, you have thick skin, so you should be fine. I also don't know why, I just threw the ball normally. Who knew you would just happen to be under that basket? It was quite a coincidence that I accidentally hit you. Shen Qiao chuckled, apologizing and explaining on the surface, but there was not a hint of apology in her words. I looked at her, not showing it on my face, but rolling my eyes in my heart. Before I could settle the score with her, she had already come to provoke me. My eyes turned red unconsciously, and I wanted to fight back, but before I could open my mouth, I saw Chi Nan Shua, who had been gentle and patient with me in the morning, coaxing me to do problems. At this moment, he glanced at me coldly, and then pressed her down. I said let you sit here, so sit here. Besides, this seat was originally yours, but it was deliberately occupied by someone with malicious intentions. Before I could figure out what was happening, the words I saw before I fainted appeared before my eyes again. Oh my God, who understands? The female lead sarcasm is so satisfying, ha ha ha. The scheming girl is so angry that her face is almost green. The baby was just throwing the ball normally. It was that scheming girl who deliberately appeared there, just to frame our baby and stir up trouble between the baby and the male lead. Disgusting, that's right, and this seat should have been our Shen Qiao's in the first place. Almost everyone in the class knows that the male lead and our Shen Qiao are childhood sweethearts, and they all tacitly avoided the seat next to the male lead. Only the female supporting character knew about their relationship but still deliberately chose this seat, just to break them up. How cheap, huh? What the hell? I looked at these strange words that appeared again, and I was almost laughed to death. These words are just robber logic. However, they were right about one thing. I did deliberately choose this seat next to Chi Nan Shua in the first place, although I don't know how these things in front of me appeared, or whether they are real or not. I only know that what belongs to me, Lin Nuanyuan, unless I want to, no one can take it from me. Malicious intentions. Chi, are you talking about me? My eyes almost instantly turned red, and I looked at Chi Nanshua with disbelief. I said, flustered, isn't this seating arrangement based on the ranking of last month's mock exam scores? I really don't understand what classmate Chi is saying about me taking away the seat that originally belonged to classmate Shen Qiao. I bit my lip, my voice already starting to choke, but since the counterattack had already begun, there was no reason to stop, so I turned to look at Shen Qiao next to me, tears welling up in my eyes, and continued, as for Shen Qiao, I know that some things have caused you to misunderstand me. Classmate Shen Qiao has always been outgoing and gets along well with the boys in the class. Naturally, I don't think classmate Shen Qiao is a petty girl, and I believe the classmates in the class all feel the same way. I admire classmate Shen Qiao very much, so even if you accidentally hit me with the ball, I know you didn't do it on purpose, but why did you have to say these misleading things in front of so many classmates? Classmate Shen Qiao, are you afraid that I won't forgive you? By the end, Tears were already falling one by one, the redness and swelling from being hit by the ball hadn't subsided yet. I always knew how to make the most pitiful appearance to get benefits for myself, and I naturally knew what to say to make someone with a guilty conscience angry. What nonsense are you talking about? Who's afraid? Shen Xiao almost uncontrollably stood up from her seat again, pointing at me in a panic. The entire basketball court is so big. How could you just happen to be under that basket? Who would believe you if you said you didn't do it on purpose? After saying that, Shen Xiao rolled her eyes at me, but I didn't continue speaking, just biting my lower lip tightly, but tears kept falling. Seeing that I didn't explain further, Shen Xiao thought she had me in her grasp. She gave me a smug look, just wanting to solidify my crime of deliberately getting hit by the ball, but she saw me suddenly break down and cry. Admitting to this crime in front of everyone, it was me. I shouldn't have stood under the basket when you were playing ball. The Delga KO/Del is almost here. Sob sob sob. I really don't want these things to make you, and all the classmates, unhappy. If, cough cough cough, if this can make you feel better, classmate Shen Xiao, then I apologize to you, I said while crying, the words almost broken and disjointed. After saying that, I obviously didn't want to continue the entanglement, so I bit my lower lip tightly to stop myself from sobbing, and turned to leave, but tears still couldn't stop flowing. 3. Shen Xiao, aren't you going too far? Finally, a girl who couldn't stand it anymore stopped me, put her arm around my shoulders, took out a tissue from her pocket to wipe my tears. Turning her head, she frowned and said angrily to Shen Xiao, I don't believe anyone would be stupid enough not to dodge when they see a ball about to hit them. It was obviously you who hit Wan and knocked her unconscious. It's not that hard to apologize when someone doesn't hold it against you, is it? Exactly. Someone else stood up. You just open your mouth and say that Wan deliberately bumped into the ball. The basketball court is so big, I'd say you deliberately hit someone with the ball. Also, I wanted to say this earlier. What do you mean? How did us sitting in the front offend you? It's your own fault for not getting good grades and having to sit in the back row in the corner. What right do you have to disparage us? Everyone chimed in, leaving Shen Xiao almost speechless. Her eyes immediately turned red. She bit her lip, tears welling up in her eyes, and she looked at Qi Nanshua beside her with a face full of grievance. No, are these girls sick? Can't you see they're being used by that scheming bitch, Lin Nuanyuan? But why do I feel like what they said isn't wrong? Besides, the seating arrangement is based on grades anyway. There's no rule saying who has to sit where, right? Seriously, can the idiot defending the female supporting character just get out? You're just as much of a bitch as she is. That's why you sympathize with her so much. Look at our baby's aggrieved expression. It's okay, baby. The male lead will slap them in the face with his actions soon. Are you all blind? Can't you see that Lin Nuanyuan is using you as pawns? Don't be fooled by her. She's the kind of person who, seeing Shen Xiao being wronged, Qi Nanshua seemed extremely angry and wanted to expose my so-called true colors in public. Unfortunately, he was interrupted by the bell before he could finish his sentence. For the college entrance exam is just around the corner. Why aren't you seizing the time to study? What are you all doing here? The head teacher walked into the classroom with the report cards in hand, a look of anger on her face as she looked at the chaotic scene. Teacher, it's Lin Nuanyuan. Teacher, Shen Xiao is apologizing to me for accidentally knocking me out with a ball during PE class. I covered my head and stepped forward, interrupting Qi Nanshua before he could speak. As soon as the head teacher heard that I had been hit, half of the anger on her face instantly disappeared, replaced by a concerned expression, and she softened her tone. You were knocked out. Where did it hit you? Oh dear, does it still hurt? Should we go to the hospital? It's okay, teacher. I sniffed and tried to force a smile at the head teacher, but tears still welled up in my eyes. It was as if I had been holding back my grievances, and I couldn't help but cry as soon as I received concern. Are you sure you don't need to go? But I see your eyes are red. Seeing me pretending to be okay, the head teacher couldn't help but worry even more. She put the report cards on the podium and quickly walked down to check where I had been hit by the ball. When she saw it, she exclaimed in surprise, Oh my, what a big bump. Shen Xiao, what's going on? I let you go to PE class to relax, but look what you've done to her. It's okay, teacher. Shen Xiao didn't do it on purpose. I tugged at the teacher's clothes and shook my head at her, indicating that I was fine. When Shen Qiao saw this scene and heard the head teacher scolding her, she instantly became angry. She wanted to retort, but the students around her didn't give her any chance to argue. Teacher, you have to stand up for Nuanyuan. We all saw Shen Qiao knock Nuanyuan out. It happened in broad daylight, but Shen Qiao refuses to admit it and insists that Lin Nuanyuan deliberately ran into the basketball. After that, Qi Nanshua let Shen Qiao take Lin Nuanyuan's seat, and said that the seat should have been Shen Qiao's in the first place. We just couldn't stand it and said a few words to help. But Qi Nanshua turned around and said that we were being bewitched by Lin Nuanyuan. It's ridiculous. Who's bewitching who? Everyone spoke one after another, telling the head teacher everything they had said earlier, determined to get justice for me in front of the head teacher. I was touched by this scene. In fact, Qi Nanshua was right, at first. I did intend to use them to create a public opinion effect and shift my own conflict onto them. Then, I would act as a peacemaker to get everyone to take a step back, resolving the conflict between the two without any effort, while also gaining a reputation for being kind. But now, I feel a little guilty. I pursed my lips, and the words I wanted to say to make peace ultimately didn't come out. Never mind. It's best not to talk about situations where someone puts in effort but gets nothing in return, and ends up pleasing nobody. If you're going to fight, then fight to the end, argue until right and wrong are clear, so that the person throwing a tantrum feels better. After all, weren't those two the ones who started it? 5. Teacher, I don't mind. It doesn't matter to me whether I get an apology or not. However, I really hope that Shen Qiao can apologize to the students who worked hard to get good grades and sit in the front row. After all, what Shen Qiao and Qi Nanshua said just now really hurt everyone's feelings. Lin Nuanyuan, you're talking nonsense. Teacher, she's talking nonsense. All right. Shen Qiao and Qi Nanshua looked at me in shock and spoke in unison, but they were interrupted by the head teacher before they could say a few words. The head teacher glanced at the two of them, and when her eyes stopped on Qi Nanshua, she revealed a hint of disappointment, and said with a serious face, Qi Nanshua, Shen Qiao, everyone has already made it very clear what happened just now. Now is the critical sprint stage of the college entrance examination, and in any case, I don't think you should delay everyone's time any longer. You are already adults, and you should be brave enough to admit your mistakes when you do something wrong. Now, please apologize to the students sitting in the front row and to Lin Nuanyuan. The head teacher's words stunned the two people who were still trying to struggle. At this time, the barrage was also filled with incomprehensible, distorted abuse. What kind of teacher produces what kind of students? This teacher is purely biased. How can such a person be worthy of being a teacher? This teacher is obviously in cahoots with the female supporting role. The bias is almost limitless. It's a pity that our baby has suffered such a great grievance. What are you waiting for, male lead? Hurry up and fight back. I'm so anxious. What a trash plot. I'm not paying to get angry. At this moment, almost all the students in the classroom turned their attention to Shen Qiao and Qi Nanshua. Shen Qiao bit her lip tightly, her eyes staring at me with a look that was called stubbornness. But in reality, she wanted to kill me, until I quickly gave her a provocative smile. Shen Qiao finally broke down and roared at the head teacher. I'm not wrong, why should I apologize? In full view of everyone, Shen Qiao threw down these words with a stiff face, covered her face, and ran out of the classroom crying, and Qi Nanshua immediately showed a distressed expression, threw a, "You wait," at me, and chased after her. Teacher, did I say something wrong? I looked at the full director in a daze, pretending to be at a loss, but the head teacher took a deep look at the two of them, and then waved her hand. Don't worry about them, everyone pack up your things, and we'll quickly change seats according to your grades. After the head teacher finished speaking, she immediately asked me to distribute the report cards. The moment they saw the report cards, the gossip mentality of those who were watching the excitement almost disappeared without a trace. The classroom was immediately filled with emotions of wailing, excitement, or disappointment, and I slightly curved the corners of my mouth. Obviously very satisfied with my score, which was almost 10 points higher than the last exam, 5th in the whole school, 2 places higher than last time. This score should be no problem to get into Tsinghua or Peking University, but it is still a few points away from my ideal score. Unsurprisingly, the first place is still Qi Nanshua. I have to say, although this guy is narcissistic and disgusting, his grades are impeccable. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but feel a little troubled. I usually have part-time jobs to earn living expenses. To be honest, I have never put all my focus on studying. My grandmother, the only relative who raised me, passed away 2 years ago. Because she was ill, she didn't leave me much savings. The only property left was the foreign debt owed to the hospital and an old, dilapidated house. The school's poverty subsidy isn't enough to cover the monthly hospital bills, and even with the occasional help from the neighbors, I still have to find a way to earn money to support myself. Besides, college costs money too, so, after school, I either work the night shift at a private convenience store for the owner, or when I don't have to work the night shift, I record and edit online courses and sell them online. I can't even relax during my rare half-day off. I have to tutor some arranged kids. The amount of free time I have to breathe is very little. I can only compress myself as much as possible to save time. For example, by borrowing the key points that Chi Nanshua spent time organizing, I had observed before that my weak points were exactly Chi Nanshua's strengths, so it was a good compliment, and since I was short on money and couldn't afford a tutor, I had to be a bit thick-skinned. But, I'm not that thick-skinned. He lends me his key notes, teaches me how to do problems, I bring him breakfast, say nice things to coax him, and occasionally buy him drinks and snacks. It's a give-and-take relationship. But who knew what was wrong with this guy? He actually thought I was doing this because I liked him. What a joke. I'm just using him as a ladder. My taste isn't that bad. It's just a pity that this ladder is about to disappear. TSK, how unlucky. Why did this idiot have to be reborn now of all times? 6th time and opportunity wait for no one. With the first place Chi Nanshua absent, the teacher simply started selecting seats from the second place student. The positions in the first 3 rows remained unchanged. Only Chi Nanshua's seat next to me was rightfully taken by the second-place student. By the time Chi Nanshua finally coaxed Shin Qiao and returned, there were only 2 seats left in the corner of the classroom. I wasn't really curious about how Chi Nanshua managed to coax Shin Qiao, but the comments were non-stop. Who understands? As expected, childhood sweethearts plus chasing wife in a crematorium is the best. Saying you won't forgive the male lead, but as long as the male lead shows a pitiful expression, you can't help but be spoiled by him. So cute, going around in circles. I found that the person who understands me and loves me the most is still you. Childhood sweethearts are the best. The way the male lead took the initiative to beg for forgiveness in the grove just now was so good. He was almost discovered by the head teacher, and his first reaction was to hug the female lead baby into his arms. Woo-woo, so sweet. I was really confused by the excitement of the people in the comments. However, what confused me the most was the pair of protagonists they were discussing. Shin Qiao has always occupied the corner seat in the last row, but Chi Nanshua is different. Looking at the only 2 remaining seats, his face turned dark almost instantly. He immediately pulled Shin Qiao to demand justice from the second-place student who had taken his original seat, but he heard me say, "Sorry, Chi, the homeroom teacher said that if you're not there for seat selection, it's considered automatic abandonment. Everyone's time is precious and can't be wasted because of the 2 of you. There are more monks than porridge, and there are only a few good seats. Missing it means you missed it. So, Chi, you'll have to sit in that seat." With that, I smiled at the 2 of them, a smile that looked like regret, but only they could see how much provocation it contained. Shin Qiao was already used to sitting in the last row, and when she heard that she could sit with Chi Nanshua, her face was filled with joy. She pulled his arm and said happily, "Great, Nanshua, we can sit together. Don't be angry, Nanshua. Isn't there another mock exam? Unlike them, you can easily get first place, and you can still return to this position by then. If you help me study hard this month, I'll try to get into the top 10 next month and sit with you, okay?" Ah, so sweet. I can't take it anymore. Sob, sob, sob. Our female lead is finally going to study hard. Before, her grades dropped seriously because of the female supporting character's instigation. This time, with the male lead's one-on-one tutoring, our female lead will definitely succeed. I can't even imagine how sweet the plot will be when the 2 of them sit together and tutor one-on-one. Me, I'm also afraid to imagine it. I'm even afraid to imagine how Shin Qiao dared to say this. She got the lowest score in the class this time, even worse than her mock exam. with a drop of at least 80 places, she directly fell out of the top 200 in the whole grade, and the 10th in the class happens to be the 10th in the whole school. She really dares to say that she can improve at least 100 places in more than a month, but Qi Nanshua believed her. Okay, I'll work hard with you. He held Shen Qiao's hand with a doting look, but I could feel a faint gaze falling on me. It's a pity I didn't look at him. After saying the sarcastic words, I turned my head and plunged into the math paper, analyzing the wrong questions in this exam. Seeing that I didn't pay any attention to him, Qi Nanshua's face darkened and he snorted coldly at me, pulling Shen Qiao back to the last row. 7. After staying up all night for a late-night shift, I was exhausted the next day. After handing over to the employees who worked the day shift, I rushed to school without stopping, but still entered the classroom just as the morning self-study period started. The class teacher didn't come today for some reason. I definitely couldn't study, so I decided to take a nap while I had the chance. Who understands? The noisy sounds in the classroom are like white noise. The hypnotic effect is max, but after lying down for a while, before I could fall asleep, the originally noisy classroom suddenly became quiet. I thought the class teacher had come, and I was so scared that I woke up instantly. I was forcing myself to cheer up and take out a book to pretend to be studying, trying to find a chance to steal a nap, when I suddenly heard a shout at the door. Excuse me. Which are Qi Nanshua and Shen Qiao's desks and chairs? Our class teacher asked us to help them move their desks. From now on, Qi Nanshua and Shen Qiao will be students in our class 3. The tall, sturdy boy standing at the door had a loud voice. The people in the classroom who were originally focused on reviewing all looked towards the door in a daze. The next second, my eyes were once again covered by overwhelming barrage comments. Here it comes. In order to prevent the female lead from being bullied by the class teacher and the group of blind classmates in the class, the male lead found the school leaders early and applied to change classes. The only requirement is to take the female lead with him. This stupid class teacher is probably regretting it to death. A top scorer in the college entrance examination and a promising student for Tsinghua and Peking University have flown away. Ha ha ha. The confrontation in the office just now was so satisfying. No, does anyone really believe that the female lead can get into Tsinghua and Peking University with only the last 2 months left? No matter how unreasonable the plot is, it shouldn't be like this. Okay, the one upstairs who is criticizing the female lead can get lost. Our female lead is very smart. Okay. She just didn't study hard because she was influenced by the female supporting character before. Which doesn't mean she has a poor foundation. Upstairs +1, female lead, go go go, what's going on? Qi Nanshua and Shen Qiao transferred classes. When Qi Nanshua was reborn, did his head hit the ground first and damage his brain? Transferring classes at this time is just asking for death, isn't it? The surrounding classmates had already started chattering and discussing this matter. Leaning on my chin, I watched the tall students from the entrance walk to the back corner of the classroom, pick up 2 desks and books, and move them out. Throughout the entire process, neither Qi Nanshua nor Shen Qiao appeared. The class teacher walked in at some point, her face not looking too good. It seemed she was affected by the sudden transfer of the 2 students, just as the comments suggested. After all, everyone knew that there was only one head teacher for the top class in the college entrance examination each year. And they were selected based on the number of students admitted to key universities. The head teacher of class 3 and my head teacher had been at odds for a long time. The former had long coveted the position of head teacher of the top class, which my head teacher had held for 3 consecutive years. They had been making sarcastic remarks in front of the students, implying that my head teacher's position was not obtained fairly. Now that Qi Nanshua, the top student in the school, suddenly requested to transfer to their class at this time, the other teacher probably had a lot to say. The students in the class were not naive children either. Seeing that the head teacher's expression was not good, they all looked embarrassed, wanting to ask but not daring to. However, the head teacher didn't say anything, only simply saying not to waste time on unworthy people, and asked everyone to open their books and resume studying. My drowsiness was suddenly interrupted. Although I was tired, I didn't feel like sleeping, so I decided to do a practice paper to clear my head. Morning self-study ended quickly. I was about to go out of the classroom to wash my face with cold water to wake up when the head teacher stopped me and called me to the office. By the time I came out of the office, the second class was almost over. unlike the drowsiness I felt when I first entered the office. I was now much more refreshed. Wait. Why was the part in the office suddenly cut off? The female supporting character stayed in the office for so long. She must have been scolded severely by the head teacher. Definitely, because of her meddling, the class lost a top student. Anyone would hate her. The even better part is yet to come, when I think about how more and more people will see through the female supporting character's green tea nature and start targeting her. I feel so good. Scold me. Why would they scold me? I frowned, and couldn't help but wonder if I and the world in these comments existed in the same dimension. However, one thing was correct. Half of the reason I was called to the office was indeed because of Chi Nanshua. However, it wasn't because of being scolded, but because of concern. If the head teacher hadn't told me, I really wouldn't have known that Chi Nanshua, that bastard, had used the fact that I was still working part-time while the college entrance examination was approaching as a handle to threaten the head teacher to let him transfer classes. Chi Nanshua thought he had successfully gotten the head teacher to let him transfer because of this handle. Little did he know that the head teacher agreed to let them both transfer classes purely because she didn't want them to affect the other students in the class. The reason she called me to the office was firstly because she learned from Chi Nanshua that I was still working part-time at this time, and felt guilty as a head teacher for not discovering my difficulties in time. Another reason was that she saw I was too tired, so she forcibly pressed me on the sofa in her office and let me take a nap. She said she hoped I would suspend my part-time job first, and she would discuss with the school to apply for an additional temporary scholarship for me to help me overcome my current difficulties. But I knew that at this time, it would be impossible to apply for an additional scholarship. She was probably just making an excuse to pay for it herself, so that I could focus on my studies. Well, I'll pay her back after I get into Tsinghua or Peking University. I might as well quit my job tonight and focus on my studies. On the way back to the classroom, I encountered an uninvited guest. I didn't want to bother with her, but she insisted on showing off in front of me. Lin Nuanyuan, I don't care what happened before, but I hope from now on, you won't try to cling to Nan Shua. Do you know, Nan Shua has already explained it to me. He doesn't like you at all. The reason he got so close to you before was just because he was young and wanted to force me to apologize to him. Shen Qiao held her head very high when she said these words. It was as if her standing in front of me to explain all this was a charity out of pity for me. Ah. Qiao Qiao is declaring her sovereignty. Who understands? The male lead is standing around the corner, and the corners of his mouth are almost reaching his ears. Seeing the female lead declare her sovereignty, look at the female supporting character's eyes, so scary. Qiao Qiao, don't be afraid. If anything happens, the male lead will rush over to protect you without hesitation. The barrage started flashing wildly in front of me. Through the barrage, I saw that figure at the corner of the staircase behind Shen Qiao, and a cold light flashed in my eyes. To be honest, if I had known that I would become a part of these two's relationship play, I would have never looked for Chi Nan Shua as a stepping stone. Otherwise, I wouldn't tolerate these two coming to me to be cheap. Shen Qiao, I paused, and an icy light burst out in my eyes. To be honest, your taste in people is really as bad as your mouth, just as stinky. What do you mean? Shen Qiao was stunned. She didn't realize that I would open my mouth and scold her right away. The proud expression on her face froze. Can't you even understand cursing? It seems that Chi Nan Shua was right. You really are a fool. I shrugged at her, then deliberately pretended to cover my mouth, and smiled apologetically at her. Oops, I accidentally let it slip. Did Chi Nan Shua tell you this when he apologized to you? The fact that he thinks you're stupid, you're talking nonsense. Shen Qiao widened her eyes and glared at me with anger. You're trying to provoke the relationship between me and Nan Shua. Do you think I'll believe you? Believe it or not is up to you. I raised my eyebrows, with a smile on my face, but the smile didn't reach my eyes at all. But there's something I think I need to tell you. You probably don't know, but the night before you knocked me out with a ball, Chi Nan Shua confessed to me. As soon as she finished speaking, Shen Qiao was almost stunned. Oh no, oh no. The female supporting character is still trying to stir up trouble at this time. So cheap, baby, don't believe it. The female supporting character is lying to you. There's no way the male lead confessed to her. Ah, I'm so angry. What is the male lead waiting for? The female lead is about to break. Lin Nuanyuan, what nonsense are you talking about? A roar came from around the corner. Chi Nan Shua seemed unable to hold back any longer and strode out from the corner in a panic, protecting Shen Qiao, who was about to break. Behind him, he gritted his teeth at me. When did I confess to you, Lin Nuanyuan? Even at this point, you are still obsessed and want to provoke our relationship with Qiao Qiao. Aren't you cheap? That's what I should be asking you, Chi Nan Shua. Looking at his gnashing teeth, the smile on my face slowly faded. You know in your heart whether you're lying or not. The chat logs in my phone haven't been deleted yet. Do you want me to screenshot them and send them to the group now, just to add some fun to everyone's tense study time? Since we're talking about this, let's just make it clear, Chi Nan Shua, I admit that I approached you on purpose, but only because you were useful to me. I always thought we were just having a give-and-take transaction, but you were the one who was being sentimental, actually thinking I liked you. Don't be so narcissistic, idiot. I've only ever used you as a stepping stone, but looking at it now, you're not even worthy of being my stepping stone, so get lost. I don't have time to play any love games with you, I said, enunciating each word, my face almost overflowing with impatience and mockery. I wasn't lying. The night before those comments appeared, Chi Nanshua had indeed confessed to me. At the time, I was worried about how to reply, so I could guarantee I wouldn't lose the free tutoring and also not hurt his feelings, but my hands were faster than my brain, and before I could think it through, I had already cleanly sent out the words of rejection. But in the end, saying these words was indeed just to stir up trouble between the two of them. Chi Nanshua, you're a liar. Feeling deceived, Shen Qiao's eyes were red, and she shouted at Chi Nanshua and ran away. This scene was completely like a novel heroine feeling sad and hurt, and then leaving sadly, and I, seeing that the provocation was successful, scoffed and turned to leave. But before I could turn around, Chi Nanshua grabbed my hand. Turning my head, I saw his face full of anger, but his eyes were bloodshot. Lin Nuanyuan, you're lying, you're lying. He was gripping my wrist with great force, almost breaking it, and he was pressing closer to me. I'm lying, my ass, Chi Nanshua. Are you out of your mind? Let go of me. I couldn't break free and swore, but Chi Nanshua was still relentless, and even the comments didn't know what madness he was up to. What's the male lead doing? Why isn't he chasing after the female lead yet? Why is he still arguing with the female supporting role? Hurry up and coax her. Wait, why do I feel like the male lead's eyes are so stubborn? It's clear that he still has feelings for the female supporting role. Lin Nuanyuan. There's no way you've never had any feelings for me. What are you doing? Just as Chi Nanshua was only a circle away from me, a commanding shout from not far away rescued me. Director, help, he's trying to bully me in broad daylight. Without saying a word, I opened my throat and shouted at the dean who was walking towards us. Seeing the dean getting closer and closer, Chi Nanshua finally let go of me. But his eyes were full of unwillingness, because of Chi Nanshua's rank as first in the grade. Under his casual explanation, the dean didn't pursue the matter and let us both return to the classroom. I really didn't understand Chi Nanshua's actions just now, didn't understand that he wasn't here to save Shen Qiao as the comments said, but why did he know that Shen Qiao was provoked by me? But instead of chasing after her to coax her, he had to pester me. He's just out of his mind. 9. I quit my part-time job at the same place and devoted myself wholeheartedly to reviewing. Since that day, Shen Qiao has never come to show off in front of me again. I heard that she and Chi Nanshua still haven't reconciled, and she's been making a fuss about changing seats every day, making the third class have a lot of opinions about her. She vowed to get into the top 10 in the school in the third mock exam, but when the results of the third mock exam came out, she dropped out of the top 200. Even Chi Nanshua's grades dropped to third place. This almost made the third class's head teacher, who was initially happy to welcome them into the class, regret it so much that his intestines turned green, and he kept finding Chi Nanshua for talks for several days, and even called his parents to the school. Time passed day by day, and the college entrance examination entered the final sprint stage. The tense atmosphere, like the gradually rising temperature, intensified day by day. Almost everyone was trying their best to race against time, but no matter how much we prayed for time to slow down and our revision speed to increase, the Gaokao still arrived as scheduled. The moment we stepped into the exam room, all the dim morning light and starry night seemed to carry weight. the pen moving across the page wrote not just ordinary words, but the sound of morning recitations crushed over 3 years. Empty pen barrels with dried ink, and exercise books with frayed edges, and now, in these 3 days, the thin paper under the pen carries more than just simple answers, it carries the sharpest edge written with youth over 3 years, a ray of dawn split open for the ideal. The 3 days passed in a flash. After the exam, I finally relieved my tense nerves and slept soundly. Afterwards, I ignored the messages in the class group about traveling together and searched for a suitable part-time job again, hoping to save enough tuition for university before the start of the semester. I always felt that time seemed to pass exceptionally quickly after entering the senior year of high school. The school's graduation ceremony was scheduled for the day the results were released. I found a job helping to organize documents, and because the documents were highly confidential, the company strictly prohibited using mobile phones during work. For some reason, I felt like I was getting more harassing calls than before, but I didn't pay attention to it. On the day of the graduation ceremony, I asked the manager for a half-day leave and rushed to the school. Many students had already checked their scores in the middle of the night. As soon as I walked into the class, I was stared at by a group of people asking how many points I had scored, but yesterday, I happened to be working overtime until 10 o'clock in the evening to integrate all the company's documents at the end of the month. I was so tired when I got home that I fell asleep without even checking. Just as I was about to check my score on the spot, this damn phone suddenly froze and couldn't access the web page. Coincidentally, the head teacher called us downstairs to take graduation photos, so I had no choice but to go downstairs first. As I passed the school gate, I saw the TV station's car parked at the entrance. The principal was being interviewed, and I heard that this year the school produced the third highest scorer in the province, a promising student for Tsinghua and Peking University. Classes were taking photos one after another, and the third class happened to be in front of us. Their head teacher was radiant today, and a group of teachers were congratulating her on producing the third highest scorer in the province. With the best results in the school over the years, she would probably be the head teacher of the key class next year. But while she raised her voice and said humble words, her smug eyes kept drifting towards our head teacher. But the head teacher didn't pay any attention to it, just smiled and took photos with the students in the class, tidied up their collars, and congratulated them on getting good grades. Finally, it was our class's turn, and everyone took a perfect group photo to commemorate the 3 years of high school. After that, there was free time, just waiting for the interview to end, the graduation ceremony to be held, and to return to the class to receive the graduation certificate. Many people asked me to take photos with them, and I happily agreed. As a memento of my busy 3 years, after finally finishing a wave of photos, I sat next to someone to rest and took a look at my grades. Unexpectedly, I heard that annoying voice again after a long time. Lin Nuanyuan, why are you sitting here alone? Is it because no one wants to take a photo with you? Are you blind? Seeing that I had already graduated, I simply stopped pretending. I squinted slightly, glanced at her extremely impatiently, and sarcastic words almost came out of my mouth. Do you think everyone is as unpopular as you? Seeing you is like seeing the embodiment of patheticness. How can there be someone in this world who is so cheap and doesn't even realize it, unless this person is the embodiment of all the cheapness in the world, the incarnation of cheapness, the #1 cheapskate in the world, the messenger of cheapness, cheap to death. Lin Nuanyuan, do you believe I'll tear your mouth apart? Was almost jumping up after being scolded by me, and her scream naturally attracted Qi Nanshua's attention. Qi Nanshua frowned and walked quickly towards her. In front of me, he directly hugged Shen Qiao into his arms and softly comforted her. Okay, Qiao, don't be angry. What's the point of being angry with someone who is destined to have no future? Do you remember what you promised me? Never get angry because of unworthy people and hurt your body. After Qi Nanshua finished speaking, he did not forget to glance at me. The barrage flashed wildly again. So sweet. God knows how happy I've been watching their sweet daily life during this time. What's the female supporting role's expression? She's about to be slapped in the face. Although the female lead baby didn't do well in the exam, teachers from Tsinghua and Peking University will come to snatch people soon. At this time, the male lead will make a request. Whichever side can let him bring his girlfriend, he will go to that side. The male lead loves her to death. I frowned, my face looking like I had eaten shit. excuse me, am I the one being called someone with no future? You two have damaged your brains by being in love, or are you still dreaming? I frowned, really wanting to stay away from these two crazy people. I rolled my eyes and was about to leave when I heard Chi Nanshua say disdainfully, Lin Nuanyuan, do you think you got your previous grades by yourself? If I hadn't helped you review, how many points could you have gotten on your own? Isn't the third mock exam the best example? When the third mock exam score was mentioned, the mockery in Chi Nanshua's eyes became even stronger. After all, my third mock exam score was indeed not ideal, and even dropped to after the 50th place in the school. Tofu has brains. It's a pity you don't. After hearing what you two said, I forgive all the idiots in the world. How can you two manage to have underdeveloped cerebellums and completely undeveloped brains? Oh, no, look at my memory. How could I have regarded you two as human beings? A bad score in the third mock exam doesn't mean I'll do poorly in the college entrance examination. Besides, what does my score have to do with you two? My face fell, but in their eyes, it turned into me being ashamed and angry because I didn't do well in the exam. Seeing this, Shen Qiao's face immediately improved. Lin Nuanyuan, you'd better not be stubborn. Not doing well is not doing well. Why bother making such a look? Making people laugh for nothing. However, have you thought about where to work next? After all, with your conditions, I'm afraid you don't have the money to repeat another year. After Shen Qiao finished speaking, she couldn't help but laugh. Chi Nanshua also hummed and laughed, with a sense of expectation and revenge in his laughter. My fists clenched so hard that they cracked, and I was thinking about whether to press the two of them on the ground and beat them up right now. But the next second, I heard someone not far away shout, people from Tsinghua and Peking University are here. Shen Qiao's eyes lit up. Nanshua, the teachers from Tsinghua and Peking University must be here to find you. This is the first time I've seen Tsinghua and Peking University snatching people. What's so strange about this? Chi Nanshuo raised his head, seemingly indifferent, but the excitement in his eyes could hardly be contained. Don't worry. When the two schools are snatching people later, I will only make one request. Whichever school is willing to admit you together, I will go to that school. Nanshua. Shen Qiao was filled with emotion and directly buried her head in Chi Nanshua's arms. I really didn't want to see this disgusting scene, so I quickly walked towards the lively gathering place at the school gate. The principal was currently receiving the teachers from Tsinghua and Peking University. I stood on the edge of the crowd and could only vaguely see a figure. Although I was confident in getting into Tsinghua or Peking University, I never dared to imagine a scenario where they would be fighting over me with Kyoto University. Shen Qiao, not one to stand on ceremony, directly grabbed Chi Nanshua's hand and squeezed into the crowd, shouting, "Here, over here, the third in the province is here. Teachers from Tsinghua and Peking University, the talent you're looking for is here." Her shout successfully caught the attention of the Tsinghua and Peking University teachers present. However, when they looked at Chi Nanshua, their eyes didn't show the slightest excitement of seeing a promising student. Instead, they walked over and sized him up before frowning and saying, "Are you Lin Nuanyuan? I distinctly remember Lin Nuanyuan being a girl." "What, Lin Nuanyuan? Aren't you here for Chi Nanshua?" Chi Nanshua, the third in the province. Shen Qiao was stunned for a moment, and then cried out in disbelief, which only made the other party frown even more deeply. "What, Chi Nanshua? The student who ranked third in the province is called Lin Nuanyuan. We got the results a few days ago. There's no way there could be a mistake. We even tried to contact her by phone, but couldn't reach her. We went to her house, but couldn't find her, so we came to her school. We're in a hurry. If you don't have anything else to do, please don't waste our time." The Tsinghua University teacher finished speaking, then pushed the two people, who were completely stunned and pale as death, aside. Then, he shouted my name in the crowd, and as Lin Nuanyuan, the third in the province in his words, was almost completely blank in my mind. It wasn't until the class teacher pushed through the crowd and excitedly pushed me forward, grabbing my hand with excitement and asking if I wanted to go to Tsinghua University, that I finally came back to my senses. I am the third in the province. What's the score? 698. No way, they got it wrong. How could that scheming bitch be the third in the province? What's wrong with it? I wanted to say it before, but where is the satisfying part of this article? If there is something satisfying, the female supporting character is the highlight of this article. the poor student relies on her own efforts, does not let go of any opportunity to improve herself, and gradually achieves her goals. This should be the standard configuration of the heroine of a refreshing novel. I thought it was outrageous before. What made you think that the male lead could help the female lead make a comeback? This is a college entrance examination novel, and they are talking about love all day long. Can you be more realistic? There's no way they can get high scores like this, and it's a rebirth. The male lead failed in his previous life. What's the point of rebirth? That's right. I wanted to say it a long time ago. This female lead is just a pure gold digger, only knows how to rely on the male lead. Why is she the female lead? Trash novel, go away, give us back our female supporting character. The barrage was a mess, but now, almost the entire screen was filled with insults to the male and female leads. It was the first time I had seen someone stand on my side. The teacher from the Tsinghua University admissions office in front of me held my hand excitedly and promised me, "Student Lin Nuanyuan, on behalf of Tsinghua University, I sincerely invite you to come to our Tsinghua University. I have learned about your situation from your teacher. Don't worry, as long as you are willing to come, the school can apply for special subsidies for you. And the school can solve all your difficulties." Impossible, you must have made a mistake. Before I could speak, Chi Nan Shua had already pushed through the crowd and rushed in front of me, his eyes bloodshot. Lin Nuanyuan only scored more than 500 points in the third mock exam, not even in the top 50 in the whole school. How could she be the third in the province? You must have made a mistake, or she cheated. As soon as the word cheated came out, the people who had gathered to watch the excitement began to discuss it. Chi Nan Shua thought he had seized my handle and shouted that he would apply to check the surveillance of my examination room on the day of the exam to find out the truth. But the next second he heard the class teacher roar, "Chi Nan Shua, what has become of you?" The head teacher frowned, his eyes full of disappointment. "You only bothered to look at Lin Nuanyuan's ranking and total score in the third mock exam, but did you see her scores in each subject? During the last physics exam, Lin Nuanyuan fainted in the exam room due to a sudden stomachache and was sent to the hospital. She missed that exam, but after she came back from the hospital, she redid the paper in my office, and with her near-perfect score, her total score exceeded 690. So, there's no cheating in her score. It's entirely the result of her hard work. As for you, I don't understand what qualifications you have to question her. From what I know, since you changed classes, you haven't seriously reviewed for a single day. Apart from the formal third mock exam, your private mock exams have been getting worse and worse. You were even flirting with Shin Qiao the day before the exam because you were in different exam rooms. Do you think you can get any good results like that?" After the head teacher finished speaking, he turned around and hugged me. I saw that his eyes were already wet. He was choked up as he spoke in my ear, but he said with relief, "Nuanyuan, I'm honored to be your head teacher and to have witnessed all your hard work and effort along the way. I'm proud to have a student like you. Next, please don't stop and keep walking down a flowery path with your head held high." At that moment, I could no longer hold back my tears and hugged the head teacher tightly, nodding, "Teacher, thank you." The scene of Qingbei and Jingda universities fighting over me that everyone imagined didn't happen. After all, my first choice has always been Qingbei, so I decisively accepted Qingbei's invitation on the spot. Afterward, I was temporarily pulled onto the stage by the principal as a student representative to give a speech. It was just some polite, grand-sounding words. After all, I had experienced so much hardship and suffering along the way. But I don't think these sufferings are worth celebrating. After all, the difficulty was just my birth, and I've always felt that I've been lucky along the way. I have teachers who have helped me like talent scouts, classmates who have never looked down on my family background and have always been friendly to me, neighbors who are willing to help me, and convenience store owners who turn a blind eye to my naps during my night shifts because they pity me, and so much more. All along, I have coexisted with suffering, but even so, it still can't stop me from receiving the warmth of the sun. Afterward, I will continue to move forward, full of hope, and be invincible. When I got my diploma and walked out of the school gate, I saw Shin Qiao and Chi Nanshua arguing on the side of the road. It is said that someone helped him check his grades. He, who could still score more than 600 points in the third mock exam, somehow dropped to 500. Shin Qiao grabbed Chi Nanshua's arm, relentlessly questioning him why it wasn't what he had promised her. A long-lost look of impatience appeared on Qi Nanshua's face, but more than that, there was panic and helplessness. Until now, he still didn't know what went wrong, and he kept muttering that it shouldn't be like this, it shouldn't be like this. Suddenly, he seemed to see me, and he raised his foot to walk towards me, but Shenqiao grabbed him tightly from behind. You still can't forget her. You've always liked her in your heart, haven't you? I could only hear Shenqiao shouting at him almost madly, but Qi Nanshua's gaze was fixed on me. Without saying a word, I turned around and gave him the middle finger with a smile. Then, in his remorseful expression, I turned around and left without hesitation. This time, there was no chance for him to start over. Afterward, I heard that Qi Nanshua decided to repeat a year, and Shenqiao resolutely followed. The two continued their love-hate relationship at school, becoming the school's famous crazy couple. After repeatedly failing the college entrance examination, they were finally rejected by the school and were never heard from again. However, many years later, someone saw Shenqiao with a swollen belly, arguing relentlessly with someone in the street over some trivial matters, seemingly a resentful couple. But that's all in the future. After that day, the so-called barrage never seemed to appear again. It wasn't until 2 months later, when I stepped into the gate of Tsinghua and Peking University, that they reappeared, but this time, the screen was full of colorful displays, sprinkling flowers. Congratulations to the baby for becoming a member of Tsinghua and Peking University. Your life has just begun, dear supporting actress baby. In all the old and faded things, please always shine, no need to think about how others see you. You are always the main heroine in your life. Those who chase the light will eventually shine. After hearing the 2 stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.